Good morning and hello again from Cuenca, World Heritage Site City. But first things first, let's grab some breakfast. And I'm about to enjoy breakfast at the Remy Pampa restaurant here on Cuenca's main square. The Remy Pampa offers something that most places in Ecuador do not: unlimited free coffee refills. Gracias.
De nada, perdón.
This restaurant is a Cuenca landmark. It's been serving up breakfast, lunch, and dinner under the same family's ownership since 1935. And that's not all. According to the late Philip Agee, the former American CIA agent who spent several years in Ecuador when the U.S. government was trying to disrupt the then Ecuadorian government's close ties with Fidel Castro's Cuba, the Remy Pampa was a meeting place for CIA agents and their informants. As they say, if the walls could only talk.
After breakfast, it seemed like a fine morning to visit the observation tower at La Libertad Park, a former prison, which offers panoramic views of Cuenca. Walk in any direction in the city's historic district, and you'll be greeted by amazingly preserved colonial architecture. New buildings aren't built here. Rather, old ones are reconfigured, including this colonial gym, newly implanted with high-end international brands. Chain stores are almost unheard of in the old quarter. Almost. A mile-long stretch of Avenida Bolivar bookends two lovely plazas at either end of the historic district. It's where you'll find the elegant French-style City Hall, a former bank building. At the west end of the avenue is Plaza San Sebastian with its old church. The plaza is anchored by the city's modern art museum. And a collection of outdoor cafes and craft beer gardens. Plaza San Blas at the east end of the Old Town is its own oasis. The truth is, no matter where you go in the heart of Cuenca, you're almost certain to encounter people engaged in something, and more often than not, eager to let you in on it.
Hello, everybody.
For a different kind of engagement, you can always drop in on Mauricio of Mauricio's Books, a Cuenca treasure. The books here are stacked from floor to ceiling, and when there's no place left to stack them, well, they're just on the floor. But Mauricio's customers don't seem to mind, especially those of Cuenca's sizable expat community.
So here's a 1976 paperback of The Grapes of Wrath. Pearl S. Buck's portrait of the Kennedy women. Maybe you've forgotten she wrote that. A little Shakespeare. For those who want to brush up on their Communist Manifesto. How about this? It's Lassie Come Home. I love the prelude to this book inside. It's Here's a Great Dog Story. And that's just some of what you find in here. I practically picked those 5 books at random.
With character actor good looks and a broadcaster's voice, Mauricio has been making book lovers happy for decades. Always interesting and seemingly always interested in what's on your mind.
Aquí vendemos, no faltaba para menos libros en varios idiomas. Se vende libros en español, francés, italiano, alemán, portugués, latín y otras lenguas, en especial europeas, sueco, finlandés, noruego. Aquí aproximadamente hay 30.000 libros, pero estoy comenzando recién. Yo tengo mucho más libros y espero tener un negocio mucho más grande.
He distills his personal love of books into a kind of philosophy. A good book, he says, brings people together and lets them see the humanity in others. When it was time to go, Mauricio was characteristically tied up, making a goodbye problematic.
Vitoño, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué cuentas?
Aquí yo voy a llevar la cuchara. Hasta luego.
Yo te guardé la cuchara porque quería llevar el sitio.
No matter. There would always be next time. I was headed to Dias de Agosto Market, one of Cuenca's largest, and where the selling starts before you reach the door.
You know, it really is an echo chamber in here. This may be a food market, but
It has all the hustle and bustle of a major bus station.
La chiquita sí hay.
You can't hang out here for long without getting hungry. And upstairs, I knew just where to go.
Es muy bien. Dame unos platos, por favor. So let's see what I have here. Here's some potatoes, papas. And also on the bottom we've got mote. That's a boiled corn that's very common in Ecuador. In fact, it's usually put on the table for you to toss into your soups. And a nice salad. And of course, the star of the show would be this roasted pig, part of it at least. Oh, and last but not least, my juice of choice is mora, blackberry juice. Love it. It's a very hearty lunch in the mercado. $4. Buen provecho, as they say.
You know, as I look at this city, I think it would be dishonest if I neglected to mention a sadder reality. The increase in human suffering has been palpable for a while now in this country, especially with respect to the influx of desperate immigrants. It began a few years ago with the economic collapse in Venezuela and the subsequent out-migration there. And so you see it and you feel it here. 5 or 6 years ago, you would rarely see anyone begging in the streets. That's not true anymore. And so as I acknowledge the beauty of this place and the hospitality and kindness of its people, I still think it's not a good idea to ignore reality. There's really nothing about it that would cause anyone not to want to come here. Far from it. But I think that if we're fortunate enough to travel, the only way to really benefit from it is to do it eyes wide open.
The scenes you encounter in Ecuador, and in Cuenca especially, are more likely to be pleasant, idyllic even. Where else can you find a planetarium exhibit honoring side-by-side American astronaut Neil Armstrong and former Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. Cuenca exists in a kind of geopolitical no-fire zone, even as the street art reminds of horrors that seem far away. At Plaza San Sebastian, another reminder of how life in Ecuador has changed. Dance performances, first modern, then traditional.
Lumière con su director Paul García.
The nighttime slips up on you here. And before you know it, it's time for good food at a good restaurant. And last, but certainly not least, good music.
Brilla tu frente cual lumbre, la mía es pálida y mustia, tú eres la paz, yo la angustia, yo el abismo, tú la cumbre, eres dulzura hechicera y amargo dolor me dices, eres tú la primavera, yo el invierno oscuro y grises, son como cielos en calma, son como soles tus ojos, pero iluminan a mi alma sus abrojos. Si eres el sol sempiterno de mi alegría,